or impressed upon me as a person to learn how to become a better me and touch more people better than I do it today. Like I said, once again, welcome to Mind Shift Programming. And the reason why we decided to integrate Mind Shift Programming on our radio show, it's because we believe that inside everybody, what lies in every one of us, is the component called greatness. All it needs is you or finding someone who can help you nurture, refine, develop, and deploy them. And that's the reason why we decided to help reposition our mind in the right perspective so that we can be the best. Because at the end of every day, you and I are the sum total of our thinking, of our thoughts. If thought becomes things, that means my thought of yesterday brought me here today. Meaning, if I want a better life, all I need to do is begin to think differently completely. Alright, so welcome to today's episode. Like I said, throughout last week we began a new series which we titled The Currency Called Character. Now, this series is in line with my new book coming out soon, which we're already working on. And so I just decided to start sharing part of this concept with us. Now, because I believe that as human, our character has got the same value, the same buying power that $100 bill, that any currency in the world has. So your character can be of a high value if you have, can have a higher purchasing power if you've got good components and the real right components that make your personality tenderable or legal tender. Alright? So from the beginning we were able to define what good character is all about. And from there we shifted into discussing the components or what makes our character worthy to be called a currency. Now, because I believe that many times money fails. Now, but there are things that money cannot buy for you that good character can buy for you. And that is why I decided to talk on this perspective of currency called character. Today's part 4. When we began from the very first day, I remember on a quick recap we touched on integrity as part of the component. Now, I remember sharing with us last week, Thursday or Friday, that we almost understand that our personality is equivalent to the paper note. Now, there is always the right paper for money making. I cannot just take any type of A4 paper right now and design a $100 bill and print on it and say I'm going to use it to buy. There is a particular paper type. Now, each of those paper type has got its own security codes, some components, some things that are integrated into it that makes it legal tender, that makes it that anybody wants to see it and everybody wants to be a part of it. Alright, so today we decided, last week we talked about integrity as one of those components that you must look out for. We also talked about components such as humility, such as respectfulness, such as what is it called again? Being trustworthy, and all of that are components that we've been able to align. So I'll crave your indulgence. For those of you, just go on our One Voice Radio page and also go to my Facebook page and just connect to every past videos, and you would connect to the currency called character, the previous series that we've been able to put together. Now, but this morning I want to continue on where we stopped last week. I remember last week we talked about humility, responsibility. We talked about humility and compassion. Now, and I remember defining humility as an aspect where you accept personal, relational, and career community, and also what we call societal obligation, even when they are difficult. And that what makes you responsible is not because you have the capacity to do, but the fact that you have the capacity to do, you do, and you remain accountable when you have done whatever it is that you do for people or with people. That is what it means to be responsible. And I touched on one of the last one, which was humility and compassion. And I remember saying to us that the greatest problem of humanity today is that the world has lost its place where compassion used to be one of the core values of humanity. That the reason why some set of people, some class of people want to eat and allow others die is because there is a loss of compassion. The reason why some class of people, some sect of people would want to put a knife on the throat of somebody who does not have the same belief system is because the world has lost compassion. I used to say to people, No matter what you are, where you are from, always remember we are all humans. All right, and that is where it begins. And that brings me to the number 8 traits of good character, and it's called fairness. Yes, and I'll talk about fairness. Telling you a very short story that happened to me personally. Now, I was privileged to get into a business relationship with somebody, not just somebody. It has actually happened between me and some group of people, and number one story was we had an agreement to do A, B, C together. Now, and I was busy playing my part of the role. Now, but this person brought a percentage of his own commitment. Now, and 3 4 months down the line, this person was asking me for return on investment on everything. Now, the truth is that was not being fair. Now, and you need to understand that fairness is about using discernment, compassion, and integrity. You can see that fairness is a combination of discernment, compassion, and integrity. Meaning, you cannot say to me that you are fair when you are not being truthful, when you don't have integrity. And remember, we define integrity as you having a strong moral principle backed up with core values. And it's not just about having them, but that you also conduct yourself in the manner of those principles that you believe in and the values that you have. So if fairness is about using the discernment, meaning you can read beyond the ordinary one. 2, you apply compassion, meaning you have the power to also feel what people feel. And bringing integrity into place, then you will strive to make decisions and take actions based on what you consider the ultimate best course of an outcome. And that is what it means to be fair. That is what it means to be fair. Now, a lot of us want to think about fairness, especially when it has to do with judging a case or not. Now, but fairness also begins in the way you relate with people, the way you do businesses with people. I've done work for a couple of people who have refused to pay me, despite how much I poured in to help to serve the cause that they wanted me to do for them, and they've not paid me. And I know some people have said, no, but you can pull down this platform. And I said, no. This guy's running a business. If I pull it down, then I'm not making his work go. So if I put myself in their shoe and try to open up myself to helping their work grow, wouldn't it just be fair that there is a commitment from those people? Now, but what is that teaching me? The lesson I've been learning from this kind of people is, okay, these are not the kind of people to do business with going forward. Now, fairness also means when you do business with people, never you lie to people, never you lie, never you shortchange people, never you cheat people. Now, because one of the greatest reasons why a lot of people would always cut out from you and not ever want to do anything with you in life is especially when they get a sense that you are cheating on them. Now, or cheating them when it comes to business. I once did a job with somebody, and what he paid me per week was nothing compared to what he would earn per day. Now, but that wasn't the issue. The issue was this person was not being fair to me, and this person was not being real. Okay? So fairness is one component that you must have if you want your character to buy anything for you that money can buy for you. Now, so after fairness, one of the other components, when you look at it from the perspective of what we're discussing this morning again, is forgiveness. Now, forgiveness is one great thing that I can tell you is ravaging humanity. And a lot of us live in the space and in the spirit and the concept and the mindset of unforgiveness. And I used to say to people that unforgiveness is like me taking the poison and expecting another person to die. I am the one drinking the poison. Now, you make conscious and an intentional decision to let go of resentment. Now, resentment and anger towards someone for an offense. Now, it is obvious that people would always offend you. That's a definite. Now, someone would always offend you. You would also get to offend people. So don't think you're only going to be the one receiving. At some point in time of your life, you will be the one becoming the offender. Now, but whether or not forgiveness is sought by the offender, forgiveness may or may not include pardoning or restoration or reconciliation, it extends both to others and to oneself. Meaning, the greatest person to ever forgive when you have an issue is yourself, and learning to forgive people. Now, because people would always offend you. So, but I always would encourage you to learn to forgive people, because forgiveness is one of the greatest hindrances that holds us back. A person who carries in his or her heart unforgiveness, I can categorically tell you that that person is opening his or her body or his health for sicknesses, to just striving, because you are somehow releasing some negative energy, and that is not good for you. Now, are you living with an emotional abuse? Are you living with whatever kind of heaviness, pain that may have come upon you because of what someone did to you? In my opinion, it's still not enough for you to bear these grudges on you. Let it go. Let it go. Because that's the only way you can become the champion and remain on top of your game and be in total control of your life. Now, because one thing I've observed about unforgiveness is, once you remember the person, or they mention the person's name, or you get to hear that that person is going through one misfortune and you start to feel happy, that means you've not forgiven the person. Forgiveness helps you come into a state where you do not want to think bad or think negative or wish anything evil happen to the person, and that you completely let go of the heart and the people. You set them free from your heart. You wish them well. Alright? And understand that it was just them making a wrong choice, a wrong decision to go about the way they wanted to go about their life. But it's all good. Alright? Forgiveness is key. I've talked about fairness this morning, and I've also talked about forgiveness. Now, the other components that determines that you've got the right component for your currency called character to become legal tender, to have the same buying power or even more buying power than any other thing in life, is authenticity. This is another greatest problem with humanity today. I've come to discover that a lot of us are not authentic. We're not really, we're not being authentic in anything we do. Now, you are able to be real, and that's what authenticity is. It's about. It's about being you, being real. There is no faking it. You're making it. You work it out, and that's how you make it. You don't pretend to be who you are not. You don't lie to yourself. And because authenticity is not about, it has got nothing to do with any other person. It's just about you. It is you coming to that state of life and consciousness where you are able to be your real and true self, without pretensions, without posturing, or without even some kind of insincerity. Now, you are capable of showing an appropriate and also a very vulnerable and self-awareness. That's what authenticity is about. That at your vulnerable state, you don't pretend to be some kind of macho man, some kind of a man who doesn't make error, who doesn't have mistakes. It's being your real self. And a lot of places where I see authenticity not being displayed is especially in religious gathering, where everybody wants to pretend to be who they are not. You need to understand that each and every one of us can be capable of showing our appropriate vulnerability and self-awareness. You need to understand that as human we've got weaknesses, and don't be scared. Don't be afraid to allow your weaknesses play out sometimes. But the reason why it's called a weakness is so that you can build some strength on it. You can work on it and become better. But that should not make you pretend to be who you are not. So being real, being authentic is where the real game of reality begins in your life. That is what everything that we've been discussing about you becoming building a character that has the power to buy, it becomes a currency stat. Because one thing people would always ask, is this person real? And once people can attest to the fact that you're real in your conduct, in your behavior, in your character, then they can do business with you and they can do anything with you. Now, but once people can identify an element of you not being authentic in your ways of living, or acting, if people can tell that you're pretending to be who you are not, then there's going to be a problem with you. I once said to people, a lot of us can be great at our work, but we are not great people. Why? Because we have a career, we're good with the job, but we're not good people. Now, it has to do with your authenticity. I once did a segment on mindset programming, which I said aligning your art, A-R-T, with your act, which is A-C-T, meaning your conduct, your personality, and your professionalism must at every point in time be aligned to themselves. That is the only way that the greater you can emerge. Okay? And another point that I'll be discussing with us once again this morning is courageousness. Now, in spite of fear, of danger, now discomfort, and of course pain, now you have the mental fortitude to always carry yourself on with a commitment, a plan, and a decision, knowing it that it is at least the right or best course of action. And that's what courage is. There used to be this cartoon I watched while growing up, and they talked about courage a lot. Now, and it was from that cartoon that I learned that courage is not absence of fear, but courage is the ability to step and move ahead in the midst of danger, in the midst of fear, but you stepping forward with boldness to still take some actions. Now, a lot of us grew up getting afraid of dogs or whatever kind of animals or whatever it was. Now, but at a certain stage of our lives, we knew there were dogs on the streets in the next compound who were back at us, but we needed to go to school. We needed to pass through that same route to get to our next destination. So it took courage for us to walk through the streets. And that was how we were able to overcome fear. Today, I don't think there's any dog that really scare me anymore. But at some point in my life, if a dog barked, I could run away. Alright? Now, it took courage for me to grow. So, like I said, the courage is you staying in spite of fear of danger or discomfort or pain, that you have the right and the mental fortitude to carry on with a commitment. Why? I talked about that we needed to go to school. There was a commitment that we needed to be in school, or a plan or a decision, knowing it is the right or the best course of an action. And that is what it means to be courageous. Now, before I continue, I have this quote from J.C. Watts that I want to read with that. It says that character is doing the right thing when nobody is looking. And if you remember from the definition that I shared with us, I said that character is who you are in the private more than who you pretend to be in the public. Now, because a lot of us come into the public with a facade, we wear makeups. We all wear makeups, nice suits, nice smiles, but that's not who we are. Alright? I needed to just lock that straight in your mind. Now, another component that I'll be discussing today is what I've titled generosity. Now, what does it mean to be generous? Now, generosity is a heart. Now, that you are willing to offer your time, your energy, your effort, your emotions, your words, or assets without the expectations of something in return, then you offer these freely and often joyously. And that's what it means to be generous. Now, a lot of us tend to look at generosity from the perspective of somebody who can give you money. No, it goes beyond giving money. The fact that somebody can commit their time to you, the fact that somebody can commit their energy to you, the fact that somebody can commit their efforts to you, the fact that somebody can commit their emotions or their words to you, or assets, or even money, as a lot of us tend to know it to be, it's what generosity is about. So that time that somebody gives their time, skill, effort, in total, giving their life for you, for your cause, or to you, that is how you define generosity. That is what generosity is about. And I'm going to use another critical example here. In our studio, now we have someone like Christabel who works with us, comes into the studio. She would take care of the news, do a show. And all of us working is not like we're being paid. Now, but what are we committing to the cause of One Voice and the vision is that we're being generous to this cause because we believe that one day is going to get somewhere bigger than we all can imagine. But what are we committing to this cause? It's time, it's energy, it's effort, it's emotions, it's words, it's assets, it's our resources. Alright? That is what it means to be generous. That is what it means to be generous. Have you ever passed on the street and you found people who you were driving, and these people were by the street corner begging for alms, asking for food to eat, and you dipped your hand into your purse and you brought out something, you brought out bread, or you took some of them and you bought them food? That is generosity. I'd one day walked on the street of Bramley and somebody stopped me and said, "Please, I am hungry. Can you help me with 5 rands? I needed to eat." And I said to him, "Okay, you know what, follow me." And I took him into a garage and I said, take food. I bought bread, I bought those stuffs. Now, of course, I knew this person cannot pay me. I know a lot of us have come with this consciousness to say that everybody who begs on the street is a liar. No, come on. I used to say to everybody, it takes a lot of courage to walk to another man to ask for help. It takes a lot of courage for another man to knock on the door of another man to ask for help. So I don't laugh at people who go about asking for help. I don't laugh at people who go about asking me to help them with food. That is what it means to be generous. Alright? Now the other component that we will touch today, which might be our final touch for today, is perseverance. Now don't forget that all of these components are what I say are the components that makes up your currency, your character currency. Now that if you've got a currency, you've got a character that lacks any one of these components, then you will never have a legal tender currency or a legal tender character. Then your character will be flawed and will be questionable, because whether you like it or not, as you take your bills, your currency into the supermarket, into any store, and it is being passed through a mercury light, that is the way the world also looks at us and passes our character through a mercury light. So if any one of these components is missing, then the value that you carry will be depreciated. Alright, so perseverance, in my opinion, is also the steadfast persistence and determination to continue on with what occurs of action. Now, believe a purpose. Now, even if it is difficult or uncomfortable, in order to reach a higher goal or outcome. Now, that's what it means to be what perseverant. To have perseverance, I beg your pardon. Not that perseverance is that steadfast. Underline the word steadfast, persistent, underline it, and determination to continue. Now, this brings me to where I talk to every young person or every dreamer or every person who's got something they are pursuing. The fact that you've got a dream doesn't say it's going to be easy to achieve, but you got to persevere. You got to stay on it. You got to keep doing something about it. You got to keep doing something new, something daily. That every day there is a step. There's something fantastic that you're adding to your life. That is what it means to have perseverance. That you gotta keep growing every second. That you gotta keep pushing yourself way beyond what every man or even society or system can help you become. You gotta keep pushing yourself. That is what it means to stay very positive. That's what it means to stay purposeful. And that's what it means to always keep the end in your mind, because that is where you are going. That is how you drive yourself and you drive your goal and your vision to your next level. I want to say thank you all right now, because I'm about to sign out. Now, but there's something we're doing every day, which is I want to urge you or crave your indulgence to always visit my website, tonitosamuel.com. Just my name and just with a .com behind it. And there is a private chat room in there. Connect with me, drop me any question that you want us to ask, and let's take this off this limit of having a live Facebook feed at any time, any day that you feel comfortable to communicate, and whatever it is you want to communicate, as long as it has to do with us helping you become better, then feel free to connect with me. And of course, I want to seize this opportunity to thank everybody who made it down to our last workshop, which happened on Saturday, which was the first edition of our masterclass edition on Business Reposition Expo. I mean, about 14 people pitched and showed up for that day. And so that, for me, was something quite remarkable and something very, very great that I was so excited about. And so, thank you all for coming. I believe that we've been able to impress upon you the right content, the right component, and we've been able to inspire you to become better, that you aspire to be greater than you are today. Now, after I sign out, Christabel will be taking over. Thank you all, and God bless you.
What's the